Hello everyone, this is pre-recorded presentation of Group 18 for MA Illustration for IA7003 Future Directions. Hi, I'm Yinjing. My elective is Healthcare Communication. The end of this elective is to solve the current communication problems between doctors and patients in healthcare through illustration. And my research is about best education for children in hospice.
Hi, I'm Yurun. In my elective course, Future Curation, I'm collaborating with my group members to research dice education for children. I found that most of the children's confusion about dice stems from their lack of understanding of dice rituals performed by adults, and that they do not understand the significance of funerals and the rituals for the deceased. Therefore, we are exploring witty, childlike, and warm ways to interpret and present the expression on dice. I think the ability to explore serious issues in a non-heavy and non-preachy way is also an important ability that practitioners in the illustration industry should possess.
Hi, I'm Hemu, and I took the elective called Modern Perspectives. This course challenged us to reinterpret classical oil paintings using moving images, aiming to help the National Gallery re-engage younger audience. I believe that the excavation and reinvention of archives, whether in oil paintings, pop art, or fashion design, are definitely emerging trends in the future of the illustration industry. Now, we're gonna talk about our own experience and the critical reflection gained by taking these three different electives in detail, and our wider conversations around the future of work.
Healthcare communication and illustration are like two ants that meet, communicating through their antennae, and then searching for a new cake together. In the healthcare communication elective, it made me realize that illustration, as a form of visual communication, can play an important role in this process, with vivid visual images not only raising awareness of global health issues, but also helping people to understand complex medical information or health knowledge. The healthcare communication elective has made me realize that research and thinking are important in illustration, so I'm focusing on these two aspects more than before. Instead of just sketching or creating something without a purpose, I now read some relevant medical literature or design example and then write down the key points, which makes my sketchbook look more like a medical notebook than a traditional sketchbook. In the healthcare communication elective, we would have a face-to-face conversation with two people who had a stroke. They would share with us their experience and how they feel at the time, which made me feel as if I could see them wrapped up in a package at that time for a certain moment. Besides, we should discuss the communication problems and solutions between doctor and patients in healthcare. They will always come up with some very innovative perspective, which expanded my thinking about how illustration can be used in healthcare communication and how I'm not alone in the room to create my ideal things, but to sincerely understand their thinking.
My elective focused on exploring new ways to present historical artworks. My project involved creating a series of TikTok dance challenge videos mixed with animation, reimagining the 18th century painting Whistle Jacket as a humorous and charismatic social influencer. To me, modern perspectives means viewing the past through a contemporary lens. In my project, I considered a question: why does the horse in the painting appear so startled? One theory says that Whistlejacket got scared because he saw himself being painted, kind of like a baby seeing the reflection for the first time. So I used the concept of selfies as a visual metaphor, bringing elements of psychology. I also tried some UI and UX design skills. This is new for me. During our WIP showcase, Aliki from the National Gallery asked a really important question. Beyond eye-catching visuals, How can our project really drive young audience to visit the museum? Simply placing an QR code next to a painting would not necessarily spark meaningful engagement with the gallery. It made me more realize that in commercial projects, visuals are just a tool. It's the message and values behind them that really matters. The WIP session also led me to reflect on the pitching process. What should be presented to a client at an early stage, and what should remain undisclosed until a more polished stage. If we present rough sketches too soon, they might get dismissed before they even have a chance to develop. I realized that leaving room for interpretation and anticipation can be really a smart strategy.
In the future curation elective course, I realized that curation requires a wider range of factors than my illustration profession, such as target audience, space selection, excavation experience, and so on, all of which I had not considered when I was an illustrator. In the course, we faced a challenge. The theme that my team and I chose was dice education for children in East Asian societies, and since the exhibition was aimed at children and the topic of dice is sensitive in East Asian societies, we needed to find a suitable multifarical expression, which could be overly abstract and could lead to comprehension bias. While overly intuitive or heavy presentations could cause a psychological burden, so we needed to find a balance. I made questionnaires, tried to use hand drawing and digital painting to depict dice and associations about dice, and went on field trips to exhibition venues with my group members, during which I gained a deeper understanding of the direction of curation. I found the illustrations to be like individual stations. The curator, like a railway transport planner, used a narrative logic to link these stations one by one like a railway network. When the fragmented pictorial information weaves and elective into a perceptible narrative system, the audience walks through all the lines and then maps out this whole system. This course has inspired my future direction of illustration. Perhaps I can also try to combine illustration with space in the future, so that my work can be converted from flight to a more diversified way of presentation, giving the audience different perspectives and enriching the audience imagination of the work. For example, I can use illustration elements to help communities, shopping malls, art space, brand windows, and other spaces.
So now for our conclusion part. This elective made me reflect on my future in collaborative commercial projects. Honestly, I found it challenging to connect with institutional clients, especially organizations like museums, which operate with strict political, religious, and cultural constraints. These limitations don't usually factor into my personal creative process, but such restrictions can also serve a purpose. They help projects resonate with wider audience, preventing them from self-indulgent expressions.
Yes, the elective course on the future curation has made me think similarly, that when we are no longer limited to expressing ourselves, but have the reality of collaborating partners, commissioners, clear target audience, and so on, creativity becomes much more limited and less free. But when we started to consider and ultimately resolve its limitations and present our work, then our work may have a deeper impact on a wider range of people.
My biggest gain from the healthcare communication elective was that I seem to take a step outside of the way I had been creating before. It made me realize that research and thinking is a very important part of an illustrator's work, especially in healthcare communication. It's so talking to stroke patients face to face to understand their plight and their thoughts that we can create work that can help them.
Through this experience, I have gained a clear understanding of the balance between creative freedom and the commercial viability.
Also, illustration cannot completely solve the problems in healthcare communication. I think if it can attract more people attention, then the power of ants will be something we can look forward to. That's all for our group presentation today. Thank you for watching.